For my final presentation, I wanted to talk about some things I learned over the course of the semester. So over the course of the semester, I have learned things from the textbooks, from the additional readings, and the videos that we have gone over. One of the main things I learned from our textbook this semester is that the biomedical model is not adequately treating our healthcare needs today. I think that when everybody thinks of the biomedical model, they really tend to think of the good it's done, but they don't tend to think of the bad. So right now, the biomedical model is helping cure our patients' diseases, but it's not helping healing them holistically. To truly heal our patients, we need to not only examine their physical symptoms, which the biomechanical model does well, but their psychological, social, and spiritual suffering. Spiritual suffering is something in particular that is not being adequately addressed in healthcare today. Both of the textbooks really hit on this. Many healthcare professionals do not feel comfortable assessing spirituality, therefore they tend to avoid the subject as a whole. Avoiding of the subject can have tremendously devastating effects on our patients. Studies have shown that this suffering is correlated with worse health outcomes. So not only is they're not holistically healing the patient by not addressing their suffering, they're making their physical outcomes worse. So therefore, as healthcare professionals, it really is our responsibility to address spirituality, and to treat the whole person. I kind of learned that there's a very specific set of skills that we need to have. We call these spiritual care skills. And what I came up with out of the books and from what I've learned is that we really need to be self-aware of how our own spirituality may affect our patient's treatment. So if we feel a specific way, doesn't necessarily mean our patients feel a specific way, and that we may try and broadcast that onto our patients without realizing it. So just being really aware and self-aware of who you are and how this may affect or lead your treatment in a certain direction. We need to show empathy for our patients. So we need to show that we understand that they're suffering. We need to listen to their suffering, and by doing so, this will help create a better connection with our patients, and this connection will allow them to feel safe and feel comfortable, and when they're comfortable, they'll be more likely to share their spiritual needs with you. And really, this is what we're trying to get at, is a comfortable, safe zone where you can treat and heal your patients. We, as healthcare providers, need to improve our listening skills. So make sure you're listening to the patients, not to hear what you wanted to hear, but to hear what they're saying, and to hear the things that they may not actually be saying directly, but are saying through their body language, or indirectly, or hinting towards, but you haven't picked up on because you weren't listening to the best of your ability. And lastly, we must feel comfortable in addressing spiritual ideals that we may not agree with. I know that kind of in our program we've hit on this a lot, that people have different spiritual beliefs. They may not agree with you, but it's your duty as a healthcare professional to really address what these people believe and work on that. It's not what you believe, it's what they believe, and just working with them to help them feel more whole and feel they're not suffering as much anymore. And one main point I got from this whole course was that to truly do these things was that we as healthcare professionals must see our career as more of a spiritual calling than a professional endeavor. So if you just see yourself as a doctor, someone who went to school to physically heal someone, that if you're in it for the money, then you're going to come in, you're going to biomechanically treat the problem, and on textbook, on paper, yeah, that looks good, but are you really healing your patients? No. And one of the stories that we talked about in class, there was a reading on it, and there was some additional videos. The Paul Farmer story really helped me remind me of this. It reminded me of my calling as a healthcare professional, and it reminded me why I became an occupational therapist, or why I'm becoming an occupational therapist in the first place, which is to help people live their best lives. So as OTs, we kind of focus on helping people being able to do things they do on a daily basis. So whether that's get back to work, or do their basic activities of daily living around the house, or do their grocery shopping, or play the sport they love to play, that's what we focus on. And that is something that could be very spiritual for people, and that's one of the things I like about occupational therapy, and one of the reasons I chose it in the first place. So reading the story of Paul Farmer, where the key idea was that Paul Farmer was this doctor who went to Haiti, and he ended up saving countless lives, not because he wanted to go to Haiti and make a name for himself, or because he wanted money or fame. That wasn't his goal. He went to Haiti because he saw a need in Haiti, and there was a drastic need in Haiti. There were countless children, parents, wives suffering from curable diseases, and he felt that he could go there and make a difference. Now, all the critics had different things to say. They listed all these reasons why he couldn't do it, why he shouldn't do it. Instead, he really focused on why he should, or why he shouldn't not do it, because to him it was his responsibility as a doctor to treat all of his patients, and if these people needed the care and he could provide it, it was his calling to do so. This really taught me that if I keep my healthcare calling at the forefront of my mind, I know when I'm on my clinicals, I tend to get caught up in trying to meet my productivity or trying to do what the site wants me to do, but instead, if I keep my calling at the front of my mind, it should be second nature to truly heal my patients and to address their spirituality. Their healing, them truly being better, should be more important than what the hospital wants me to do, or my productivity, or how many patients I can fit into one day. So to incorporate both these key ideas of addressing spirituality that I got from the textbook and focusing on my calling as a healthcare professional through truly healing my patients from the Paul Farmer story, I really thought that I needed to increase my communication skills to be able to be effective and used in a professional collaboration to do these things. So from the course materials, to do that, there are some things that I really thought would help. The first being that I need to learn to share my patients' narratives with other healthcare professionals, so that not only everyone can gain more insight into providing more holistic care for our patients, but I can gain self-awareness into what I get from a story versus my perspective versus other healthcare perspectives, and learn not only about the patient and myself. As OTs, I feel like we get to spend a little bit more time with some patients than other healthcare professionals may, so we may get to see more of the narrative, and therefore it is our responsibility to share it with other healthcare professionals and ensure that our patients are receiving the best care possible. I also what I got from this book is, if I don't feel comfortable in addressing spirituality, but I think that it needs to be addressed, there's hospital chaplains that I can refer to, and those hospital chaplains will be comfortable, and they are trained to do so, and they are on call and reachable at almost all times. So before this class, I'm not sure that I really would have thought to refer to a chaplain. I thought I probably would have tried to address it, and if I couldn't, maybe see if someone in the family could, but now I really feel comfortable in making that referral, and I think that's something as a healthcare professional I feel good about. And lastly, this course really kind of showed me that we, as people who have gone to a university or college that focuses more on a religious spiritual aspect, we did get provided with an education that focuses more on a holistic model, but not everyone may have received this, so we need to understand that not all of our coworkers in the real world may have been educated on the importance of spirituality. They may still be operating in the biomechanical model, and therefore, as someone who has been educated on this topic, it is my responsibility to educate and advocate for the inclusion of spiritual treatment in healthcare today. So I'm really excited to start using this in my clinicals this semester and see if I can truly heal my patients. I hope you guys get to do the same. Thanks for a good semester.